Okay, today what we're going to do today is we're going to take apart Dave's gun. Here we go, Dave. Make sure you have good Allen keys, good screwdrivers, new ones or sharp ones or good ones, because all this stuff is put together with some sort of Loctite or something, and stripping things out is a bad idea. The screws aren't really big, so everything's good quality, but you know, it's all smaller stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is take off the scope. And for that, we're going to use a 5/32 Allen wrench. Off comes the scope. Set that aside. Dropping stuff already. Alright, next thing we're going to do is take off the stock. The stock comes off with just one bolt, and that is a 3/16, at least on this gun. Oh, it's got to wiggle them a little bit to get them off. And some of the stocks, they're stepped inside. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little step in here, so you got to kind of work that around. Then you got the bushing and the nut. So we'll put all that together and we'll set this place someplace safe where he won't get hurt. Actually, we'll set him over here. Alright. Now basically we have just the action. There's no need to degas because we're not going to be doing anything in that area at all. Next thing we need to do is take off, there's 2 screws here and 2 screws here. They're all Allen head key, and then underneath this single shot tray there'll be a couple more. Because the gun is cocked, I got the safety on. And inside here, you'll find 2 flathead screws. And these is what you need a nice screwdriver for, not one that's all chewed up and rounded off. So we're going to take all this off. And they're on there snug, like I said. And that one being stubborn, we're going to get a little bigger screwdriver. There we go. Make sure they're good screwdrivers. Worst thing you want to do is strip out some screws, especially on a gun that's not yours. Ha! That would not be good. So we're going to access the hammer. We're going to polish that. We're going to polish the inside of the tube. And then we're going to see if we can adjust the power on this Ranger a little bit. It's running a little hotter than we like. So we're going to change out bushing and see if we can get it to where we want. We're trying to tune for ultimate accuracy. Some people like accuracy, some people like power, some people like in between. It just depends upon what you're doing with the gun. So I have a little cup over here that I put all my little parts in so I don't lose them. They don't roll away. A lot of these parts are little. So now that I have the gun, those 2 screws off, I'm going to decock the gun by turning the safety bag off and then letting it go down. So that way I don't have anything under tension in here to get everything apart. You don't want that under tension. So next thing we need is to take off the 4 screws. On my Ranger, there are 2 different sizes, so we gotta find which size we need for this one. Let's see. Nope. I don't know why they can't make them all the same. It looks like probably going to be this one. And then we have a winner. 3/32 for those of you guys who want to know. Now this one, see how sloppy that is? Sloppy. And the same on mine, this would turn into be a 2.5 millimeter, which it is on this one too. So I don't know why they did that, but 2.5 millimeter for the front, and you can see they're tight, and 2.5, and was it 5? And 3/32 for the back. So I don't know if you can change the screws, but what I do is I keep them together with the wrench and put them back in the same holes. So that way I know everything goes back together the way it was. Let's get them guys to drop out of there. Come on, there's one. This one's being feisty. They like to be feisty every now and then. Alright, he's going to be feisty, we'll leave him in there, it doesn't really matter. So, I'm going to put these over here actually, because I know those are going to be in the front. Now I'm going to take these guys out. That one was a little loose there, Dave. Not too bad though. It was snug, but not as tight as the other ones. So once we have all these out, we're going to be able to separate this right off of here. So and we're just going to lift it up, straight up, off it comes. So now we watch out for those screws that we have in there. 1, 2, come on out of there. And then there's the other front screw. So I'm going to put that one with this front screw, and I'm going to see if I can get that one out. Yeah, he's going to be stubborn. We'll just push him through with that key. So here's the back. I'll put them in my dish. We'll put the Allen wrench with them. We need to have a rag. That got a little grease on it from the factory, it looks like. Be right back. Alright, we got a little toilet paper. Keep the grease off our fingers. We're gonna wipe the grease down on here a little bit. Right here, we got the transfer port. Not sure if you see that or not. And then we got the basic mechanism, the bolt. Right here is the cocking mechanism. It's a screw that goes into the bolt, and then there's a little bushing on there. We want to put a little bit of grease inside of here to keep everything nice and lubed up, and when we reassemble it, we'll do that. We're going to inspect everything, make sure everything looks good. Everything works like it's supposed to. And it looks pretty good. I don't see anything wrong at all. Looks like we're a little dry. So we'll put a little lube in there. These screws are what cock the gun. They're notorious for working their way out. And if you reef on cocking them, you can bend them. So be warned, you don't want to be bending that. That's not good. So, and if you feel rough cocking, like when you go to cock the rifle and first pull it back, and you can feel it catching on something, like grinding on something, that generally means that that screw loosened up and it's actually rubbing on the top of the hammer. So we're gonna, like I said, clean that up just a little bit. We're gonna set that aside right there. And here we have, well, looks like someone was using a little bit of lube. The hammer right there. And then here's the port for the air to come out. We don't want no dirt in there, so we're going to prevent dirt from getting in there. You can do this if you want or not want. The O-ring's real deep in there, so you don't really got to worry about that guy. I just put a piece of tape over that. So now I know I'm not going to get no dirt in the valve. It's on the exhaust side, so I don't know how much of a difference it's really going to make, but if dirt gets on the other side, it's going to cause an issue. So we'll just err on the side of caution and get rid of the dirt altogether. Alright, so now what we want to do is we want to take the safety cap off, and that's done with a 1/16 inch Allen screw, or Allen wrench. Make sure you have good Allen wrenches, not the $1.99, not the $4.99. Spend some money, get the really good ones, the best ones you can get. These are E-Klein brand. They're the best ones I could find. You want a good hardened steel one. Why? Because you don't want to strip out, screw heads or set screw heads with the cheap Allen wrenches. And these two screws are the last two we're going to be taking out to get the safety into the hammer. And there's one more we need to take out to get the whole hammer off, but there's one on this side right there, and there's one on that side right there, and they're only 1/16 set screws, and they're Loctited in or glued in or something. They're hard to get out. You need to take your time, and you need to make sure you got good tools in order to get them out. If you strip them, you're bumming. Then you got to drill, and things get ugly after that. So I already loosened these up the other day, so for us it's not going to be too bad. This is all held in, holding a spring in, so this cap is under pressure. There's the first one. We're going to put him in a safe spot. At this point, we're going to push down. We got that in there, and we're going to take that one off. Like so. And we'll just put the Allen wrench and all that in there. See, now look at it, just rises to the occasion. There we got the safety mechanism. Here we got the hammer spring. And here we have the bushing. On this bushing, I see it's got a 50 written on it, and it's also got an outer casing. On mine, when I did mine, it has a totally different bushing, and it didn't have the outer casing. So I'll keep parts separate for you, Dave. So there you have the hammer spring and the bushing. Okay. Now Dave's Ranger's been running hot. It's been running up GSP Kings to 954, way too fast for our likings. We like them around 870, 880, 890, maybe touch into the 900s, but basically 840 to 880 is the accuracy zone. I've had good accuracy even below 840, but once you start pushing up to 900 plus, accuracy starts to deteriorate quite quickly. So we want to see if we can get this Ranger to run a little smoother. So here we have, I'll give you a shot. That's the hammer. We don't need to take off the trigger mechanism or nothing. We just need to put the right screw head in there. And I believe it's a 7/64, but nope, it's not a 7/64. Where are we? Here we are. It's the 5/64. At least I had the 64th part right. Well, I see Dave's magnets here are pretty strong. On the single shot tray, it's collecting all the stuff. So I'll take that out. And we just take this off. This just keeps the hammer from sliding out the back, I guess, when you're cocking it, it looks like to me. So there's the screw for that. We're going to set that there. Now we have to hold the trigger down, and then we're going to slide this bad boy right out of here. rotate it around to get it out. You gotta flip it totally upside down because there's a flat spot. If you can't hit that flat spot, it won't come out. So let me let that back up. So we'll take a look at it. A little rough. There's some galling on it, I can see some rub marks. There's some crusty metal. I got a lot of grit. A whole lot of grit on my fingers, which I didn't run into with mine. Mine got a little crusty from being out in the weather, but there's actually grit in this one, Dave. It feels like sand, but it's metal shavings. Actually, I can see the metal. Take a look inside the hammer. So what we're going to do, you can feel the machining. It's just machined, it's not unpolished or nothing. I can see the shiny galling on this side. We're going to polish this, make it all nice and shiny and brand new. Looking better than new, I should say. It's supposed to help increase efficiency. We'll see if that happens. We'll take our little friend the screw, we'll put him in the pile. Then we're going to look inside here. I can get us a flashlight and then we can see inside of there. Just give me 1 second. I'll give you guys a good look at what's going on inside of there. Shazam! Back! Alright, seeing as how I'm flying solo here, I'll just kind of give you a look. Not sure if you're getting that, but there's not really much in there. Just an empty tube, and then you can see the valve stem right there. There's a bronze bushing in there. You can see the catch for the trigger and for the hammer. And then there's some screw holes to hold the trigger group on. It's not horrible inside there, but you can see it's not smooth. So we're gonna do a little smoothing out of everything. First I wanna just degrease it. Feels like there's some oil in there. Yeah, a little bit of oil, not bad. Oil and stuff like that thickens up when it gets cold, and then it really affects your velocities on your PCPs. So if you do use anything, use a synthetic oil that's a lot more stable in the temperature, and use a really extremely lightweight oil. I'm trying graphite out in mine to see how that works. I don't think it had anything really in it. So everything else looks good. Just show that it's not a very old gun. So there you have the disassembly. Like I said, now I'm going to polish this and polish that. I'm going to be using 400, 600, 1000 grit sandpaper, the black stuff. I got an arbor set up so I can ream the inside of that with an electric drill. And as I do this stuff, I'll give you sneak peeks on how it's done via pictures. I'm not going to video all that. I'm going to chuck this up right here on the top. I'm going to put this in my drill press, and then I'm going to just spin it, and I'm going to polish all this. One neat thing I guess I want to show you guys is on a Daystate, these manual ones, they all have an adjustable hammer stroke, and that's accessed with, if I remember correctly, it was a 2 and then it was a 3 Allen key. So the really long ones, there's the 3, fits right in the hole. There's a 2 right here, and that loosens up a set screw. and Dave's is all the way in, so that means Dave's got the max stroke. So, and then you just turn this, and you can see it coming out the end. It's got a limited adjustment. You turn too far and this falls apart, then you gotta take the gun apart to fix it. So, let me just take that right out of there. So you can adjust how far the hammer strokes, which makes a difference on fill pressure and velocity to a point. So there's some adjustability once you get it all back together. And I noticed that after a while, even this one only being 6 months old, is mushrooming out quite a bit. So I don't want the edge to get out, so we're going to take that edge off via some sandpaper here. So, alright, let's get to polishing. Let's do what we came here to do.